But also, we want to.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey everybody, TGIW, and welcome to the Be Inspired Radio Show, live on BeExposedRadio.com. Welcome you, and you. I'm so happy to be spending this time with you today. I'm always looking forward to this time to spend with you guys. And I'm excited because we have a lot to talk about tonight. Whoa. What a week we've had. What a week we have had. The presidential debates. Oh my. That was like Battle Royale. I don't know if any of you saw the picture I posted on the Be Inspired Radio Show page, but it's a picture of Hillary and Trump, not Obama, Trump, and underneath of it says Battle Royale. And that's exactly what it was. It was like a smackdown for presidential debate, the back and forthness. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little later. Also, I want to talk about today, Michelle Obama just today was campaigning for Hillary in Philadelphia. And she had some strong words to say, and rightfully so, because her husband has taken a lot of hits, especially from Trump. So we're going to get into that. And we're going to also get into talking about our topic that we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks, starting with the end in mind, which has come from a series, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is an amazing set of things that you can follow yourself if you are looking to be successful in life. And we all need some kind of strategy. We all need tools and techniques to help us through life. And so that is what the Be Inspired Radio Show is about, to bring you those tools, to bring you those things that can help you through life. But guess what else? This weekend is my birthday weekend. Oh, wow. Yes. I'm gearing up for that. I'm really excited because really this is the only weekend I'm going to really be able to celebrate, because I'm going to be doing other things all the other weekends. But I'm excited about it. I always make a big deal about my birthday, but this year I was like, I'll do a little this, do a little that. But also Saturday is me and my husband's 10th anniversary. We have been married for 10 whole years. Wow. Yes, we have. A whole decade. Awesome. The number of order. I'm excited. And things have been put into order. It's funny because when you go through things in life, you might not understand why you had to go through it. You might not fully understand it, but as time goes on and pieces start to come together, you can see why things happened in your life. And I could truly say that, through my husband and I's marriage, we have definitely grown, matured, and we have gotten stronger. So 10 years, way to go. Woo! And we're going indoor skydiving. That's how we're celebrating. Yes. Indoor skydiving on Saturday. So that should be interesting. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm a beginner, so they're gonna go easy on me. I hope. So with that being said, let's get right into the discussion about the presidential debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. I'm gonna tell you there were several different things going on that gave me pause throughout. The first thing I want to say is that I was very impressed with people's interaction on Facebook. There were so many comments flying. People were paying attention and people were watching. And I'm happy about that. The only thing is, I wish that people would pay attention when it's not something that's high profile, like this debate was, because a lot of times people tune in, like when it was Obama, because he was potentially going to be the first black president and everybody was watching. And so Hillary, who is the first female Democratic presidential candidate against Donald Trump, who is just a wild card. That's what I call him, because I don't know what else to call him. So everybody was tuned in, but keep in mind there are going to be 3 more after this. Are you going to be tuned in just as much? That's all I'm asking. So don't just stop at this first one, because there are going to be other issues and things touched on, talked about that maybe wasn't dealt with on the first debate. So you got to stay tuned. All of it is going to be important, and all of it is imperative for you to vote. And I can't tell you how to vote. All I can tell you is to pay attention to the things that were said and also to the things that were not said. So pay attention, you guys. Don't just stop at the first debate. There are 3 more to go after that. So anyway, the first thing I want to touch on is the moderator, Lester Holt. I love him dearly. I do. I really do. I think he's a great guy. I think he's had an awesome career in being a news journalist and all those great things. But if I had to give him a grade for how he moderated the debate, it would probably be like a 5.
I don't think it was anything that he could have done.
And it's Nate talking
against Trump. I just think anybody who would have done that would have had to get as ignorant and as belligerent as Trump would have been to control Trump.
Right. I understand
that's outside of his character.
Right.
I don't think it was necessarily his fault.
No, yes, Trump was definitely rude.
There should have been armed guardmen.
I think he just needed to be a little more assertive, because he needed, first of all, to keep track of time. Mm-hmm. That's right. Several times they went over time, even when they're given their 2-minute mark. And this is for both of them. This was not just for Trump. Hillary also went over several times. She even, in hopes to be able to defend herself against Trump, started to overtalk. So it was really both of them.
She would have looked weak if she didn't do it. And then we'd have been like, oh, she lost. She looked weak. He pummeled her.
I was just looking for Lester to be a little more assertive, not necessarily aggressive, because of course that was not his personality. But I was looking for him to say, listen, we have to do a hard stop right here.
He would have did that every 5 minutes.
And that's fine. But at least they would have gotten the point. The fact is, as the moderator, you have to set the tone. Because you're facilitating. You're making sure things move along. And regardless, he's not above the process. It made it seem that way because, and everybody thinks he is, because he's a wonderful talker, a BS artist, as they call it. But I believe Lester Holt could have done a better job of moderating. I don't think he did a terrible job. I just wanted him to be a little more assertive. And I'm hoping that the next go round, he'll look back at the videos and see where he could have maybe interjected more. And I think he asked some awesome questions. I really do. Thought-provoking questions. I just feel like when it came to and then it wasn't even that. It was the fact that Trump was like, can I talk, please? Can I finish what I need to say? Like, he was just being directly rude, So the tone to me needed to be set. I don't know. What you guys think? I'm going to open it up. I'm talking. I'm running my mouth.
It was a waste of 2 hours of my life.
Okay. Why did you feel that way?
I learned nothing new. There was nothing remarkable or, new about. I knew everything from both of them that I heard that night.
Right.
And it was a waste of my time. It was a clown show.
Right.
I could have watched Atlanta's Housewives reunion and gotten the same type of responses.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But you were expecting something new.
I was expecting for him to actually answer questions and not circumvent them or go around them.
Right.
I was expecting for him to keep his composure. I was expecting for him to be presidential.
Right. For the first half, I will say he did. And I'm
35.
Yeah, 35.
Seconds.
Yeah, not
seconds.
I don't think it was that.
Right.
It probably wasn't that for the first half.
He took that first glass of water, it was done.
He said the first
And
glass.
the other 8 was just got worse.
Right. But yeah,
You
he
can see his
started
face getting
off
red and
calm,
everything.
but that wasn't in his character,
No,
so he
right.
wasn't able to keep
That's
that
why I
up
wasn't
very long.
expecting it at all.
Yeah.
I had no expectations. I knew what I was going to get from Donald Trump.
But this
Right.
was the first official debate. I expected for him to at least show face. And I could tell they prepped him to be like, calm down, take a drink of water whenever you feel yourself getting heated. And that turned into him drinking. He probably drank a gallon of water.
Right. He probably did. I think what I did like, though, is that the hard questions were asked, about the police system and racism. And I think I enjoyed the fact that those questions were asked
But did you get an answer?
from
Hillary.
Hillary, from Trump.
It was
Absolutely
all
not.
around.
Oh yeah.
All around. He even brought in the birth.
He did, and
birth
the
certificate
stop and
situation
frisk
did that. It
and
had nothing to do with nothing.
no
And re-implementing stop and frisk is just going to be
racial.
dumb.
Yeah,
It's not even dumb. It's going to be hostile.
It's
because,
stupid,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
stupid. It was a stupid policy in the beginning. This is a stupid policy
And
now. Because
I-
it gave everybody the right to racially profile.
right. I tend to agree with Nate that it will get hostile, especially with the complexion of how everything is right now and emotions running high. You institute something like a stop and frisk, there are going to be some injured police officers or
And
even more fatalities,
And that was just in New York, but to implement something like that
Nationwide.
is going to be horrible because cops are already on edge and citizens are really on edge.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot more resistant arrests and a lot more fatalities
Yes.
because of it. And
I agree.
He didn't find anything wrong with it because he wasn't being stopped and frisked. His children wasn't being stopped and frisked.
Mm-hmm.
So he had no connection to that at all. So
Yeah.
it was a policy that those types of people felt necessary
Yeah.
in order to bring down crime in New York City. But Bloomberg, if I'm not mistaken, that wasn't even his policy. He took credit for it. And it just got out of hand because it was supposed to bring down the crime in that city.
Right. What I thought was appalling that he repeated the statement that he had made several days ago or a week or so ago about the inner cities and about it being more violent, more dangerous than ever. To me, he must have thought he was right. And to repeat that, even on that platform, and then even link it with the whole racism or racial profiling that goes on,
What he says is not off. He just has no connection to the truth of it. So it sounds as if he's just a racist.
Right.
But he has no connection to what is actually crime has risen because both sides have gotten hostile.
Right.
And there's tension. Police officers are more on edge and people who actually have been already committing crimes are now just going buck wild. Like,
Right.
I don't care. It's just no sense of concern. So I don't think his problem is he's in some type of truth, but he's not connected to it. So
Okay.
he's reading headlines and Twitter stories like everybody else is reading. And that's where he's getting his facts from. And everything else the people that are prepping him are saying it is not ringing in his mind because it's just something that he's like regurgitating. He's just learned. He's basically in school right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm
he is
taking
really.
a
He's getting a
test.
crash course.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, time is running out. I cannot believe it. So when we come back from the break, we're gonna do a couple of announcements, and then after the break, we're gonna talk a little bit more. We're gonna recap a little bit more. I'm gonna try to do a few little quotes. Some of the hot quotes of the debate. There were plenty of, low punches thrown, but we'll get into that a little bit more. And then I want to talk about Michelle Obama campaign trail in Philadelphia for Hillary. So stay tuned to the Be Inspired Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com and on YouTube at Be Exposed Radio.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
I love it. It's awesome. It's all my ethnic joy every day.
Free stuff for you just for listening to this station. Yo, we got your attention? Here's how it works. You click on the radio loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for cool stuff in the radio loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps.
I had to admit that. I don't know what they're going to do about my mouth, but just check out the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's more of the same right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
This is the mother of truth, Baltimore's own magical Negro, your thug unicorn, your gangster goddess, here on Gangsta Goddess Radio.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it. You don't do anything but think about it.
What are we going to do if we lose the house? Where are we going to go?
At work.
I can't let anybody find out. I'm so embarrassed.
At dinner.
How can I tell the kids? It's going to wreck their lives.
And at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get through this. What's going to happen to us?
It's time to stop thinking. It's time to start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options.
I'm all alone.
No, you're not. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. And now there are more ways to help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Football, you basically have a good 10 to 12 years, and that's what it is.
When you have a lot of people retiring early, it's funny, a lot of me and my alumni from UVA, where I graduated from, one of our fellow Wahoos, he retired yesterday, 32 years old. To Brickashaw Ferguson, and he's been in the league like 10 or 12 years. So like you said, a lot of guys are making that change on their own now, because they're seeing a lot of things from the concussion movement,
right,
stuff that's been happening. It's not the noun, it's the effects later, because you see different stories of men are in like their 50s and some are committing suicide because of the banging and the voices or the concussions. And
did you see that?
I haven't got a chance to see it. But
not the movie, but did you see those effects?
I have seen concussions in college where guys have played that whole entire game.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
TGIW, everybody. Welcome back to the Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Miss Be Inspired, and I just have a few announcements that I want to share with you. First of all, Be Exposed Radio will be live at the African American Authors Expo on Saturday, October the 15th through Sunday, October the 16th. All of the personalities from Be Exposed Radio will be there. We will be hosting that event, and we will be bringing coverage to that event. So if you're looking for something to do on October the 15th and 16th, please come to the African American Authors Expo on October the 15th, not the 16th. On the 15th only, Be Exposed Radio will be there covering that event at Morgan State University. We need you to come out and support these authors. These are people who have independent publishing companies, people who have published their own work, authors that have put a lot of work into their craft, into their art. So I think it would be awesome for especially Baltimore to come out, show up, show out, show your support to these authors that are going to be coming from all over. I had several on my show that will be there, and I'm going to be there supporting. I'm going to be hosting just like everybody else, all of the other personalities on Be Exposed Radio. So I need you guys to be there at the African American Authors Expo on Saturday, October the 15th only at Morgan State University. Also, I have the pleasure of hosting the Live on Purpose conference, which will be in Wilmington, Delaware on October the 7th through the 9th. I'm really grateful because I have a partnership with Live on Purpose. So Live on Purpose and Be Inspired LLC, we have partnered together to work on doing some things and getting some events together. So this is my first one. Live on Purpose conference has been going on for I think 2 years. This is the second year, but this will be my first time attending. So I'm excited. I will be hosting. I will be the MC extraordinaire. That Friday night will be a comedy show, and then Saturday will be full of different seminars and conferences going on that day. So if you're looking for financial help with your marriage, spiritual help, you got to make it out to the Live on Purpose conference. It will be October the 7th through the 9th in Wilmington, Delaware at the Doubletree Hilton Hotel. You got to be there. I'll be there. I have some friends that are going to be there, and we're also partnering up with some other groups that will be volunteering, some young women's groups that will be there, and they'll be able to get community service credit. And we have a talent show for youth. If you want to be part of that, please come out to that event. You can go on Facebook and look up Live on Purpose Conference 2016 or on Eventbrite at Live on Purpose Conference 2016. Register. If you know somebody who would enjoy this event, I'm telling you, get them a ticket, grab up your girlfriends. It's actually open to anybody, all family members. So I want to see you there. So please come out to the African American Authors Expo on October the 15th, and then October the 7th through the 9th, the Live on Purpose conference in Wilmington, Delaware. I hope to see you guys there. Well, that's all I have for announcements. I want you to stay tuned as we continue our conversation on the recap of the very interesting and entertaining debate. We're also going to talk about Michelle Obama, who was on the campaign trail for Hillary in Philadelphia. And then we're going to get into our topic, which is starting with the end in mind, which is part of a series that we're doing. 7 habits of highly successful people. I need to make sure I commit that to people, highly effective people. So please stay tuned to the Be Inspired Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
You're listening to the station with their ear to the streets. BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback from It Is What It Is radio show.
Paul he was chilling, he was doing his thing. Y'all, you feel me? Love y'all family, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, for him to be taken away from you, snatched away from you, just like that. You feel me? It's like damn. Another good one gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you taking the good? You know what I'm saying?
You always end up asking like, why?
And like again, it's a lesson that it's a test of faith. You feel me? Gonna take you through these tests. You feel me? You're gonna go through these little phases in life, yo. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you just gotta recognize that one, it's the adversary trying to knock you off your pivot, And then it's God trying to teach you something. You feel me? Anything that you go through, you gonna get through. It's called going through. You feel me? That's why it's called going through. You going through something.
Right.
You feel me? Because after you go through it, you get through it. You look back on it like, damn, I got that. You feel what I'm saying?
For this and more, be sure to tune into BeExposedRadio.com every Friday from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m. to listen to more of It Is What It Is radio show.
I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person. And if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show. So since we're talking about the book, can you give people a synopsis of what the book is and what's the name of the book again, and then what it's about?
The name of the book is From Trial to Afflictions. More than one, because there were more than one afflictions.
Yes.
The book is talking about, actually, it's my life story. And I have to add in there that when that prophet told me, he said, tell your story, write the story. He said, and God said, tell your addiction. Now, see, I'm not going to tell the addiction because you have to get the book to read it. But it was about deliverance. Mm-hmm. It was about all the, trials and tribulations we go through. People that come into our life, even people that come to try and break you down or draw you down so that you can't stand for God or worship Him through your situation, because that's the adversary using them. We have to know that. But through it all, I was still praying and fasting. Mm-hmm. I needed help from God. Mm-hmm. I really did. I needed help from God to see me through. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that's going through, I say that this book is about different afflictions.
Yes.
Going through them, how you get through them. And I had a sister pushing me too, praying for me. I thank God for that again.
Yes.
But it also talks about deliverance. Mm-hmm. There is deliverance in the process.
Yes.
And you have to be willing to see yourself first, to know that you need deliverance.
Yeah.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday, live at 7 p.m. right here on
What's
Be
up,
Exposed
everybody?
Radio.
It's Monty from Talk Lately. I want y'all to sit back and listen to this flashback. We be tripping. Since he did
I
that.
mean, really, but I mean, he might have. I got him maybe jacking her up.
The kids said he did it.
But this is Floyd Mayweather punching her head repeatedly, and like she doesn't have like brain damage.
No, she didn't have brain damage. I don't think he was hitting her like that. Or he probably was like, say something else. Say something else.
That
he probably wasn't like tagging her.
Right.
He probably was just like, and the kids was like, Daddy.
Why do they have the accent? Why do his kids have the accent?
I just pictured them looking like African. Oh. I didn't want to have to admit that. I don't know what they're going to do about my mouth, but just check out the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's more of the same right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Woo! TGIW, everybody. Welcome back to the Be Inspired radio show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Why? Am I talking super loud? Monty said I was talking super loud. Let me, I'm gonna turn it down. I'm gonna turn it down. I just did that to wake y'all up, just in case y'all were dozing off. You know, I had to, you know, spice it up a little bit. But I'll tone it down, maybe. I'm loud, y'all. I'm loud and I'm wild. All right. Anyway, welcome back to the Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. I'm your host, Miss Be Inspired, and we've been talking about, we started the show off recapping the hilarious, entertaining, very interesting debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because, first of all, this is definitely a huge part of history we're experiencing. Probably one of the most unqualified people I've ever seen running for president. I don't, you know, I haven't seen all the presidents, but so far in my history that I know of, he seems like the most unqualified.
Did you just speak that into existence? No,
What?
you don't
What
even
did I
use
say?
those two words.
I said presidential candidate.
Yeah, but you don't even use the pronoun
What?
him and president in the same sentence.
Don't even associate the two.
No.
Well, you know, he's very seemingly unqualified.
Even
and
if he's playing
definitely
a character, it's crazy.
right. You know what's funny though, with you saying that he was talking about his temperament, that he has the better temperament between him and Hillary, and I'm sure
lies.
People were looking at that TV like, say what now?
You can see him.
Say run that.
getting
You want to run that by
agitated.
me again? Say what? No, not the way you just lashed out on, you know, the African American community, and even your responses to Hillary were off the chain.
What made me nervous about him becoming that would be
I love it.
would be he kept talking about he didn't call it a police, he kept calling it law and order.
Yes. Oh,
that kept me on nerve the whole time because he
Yeah.
used that term several times.
Oh yeah, he repeated it back to back several
Right.
times.
Law and order.
Mhm.
And that reminds me of like a dictatorship.
Right.
Like we're going to be a policed country.
I wanna
Like a
look that
police
up,
state.
'cause
He
let's-
kept talking about law and order. But he wasn't talking in terms of police officers cracking down and not
Mhm.
letting anything slide, which isn't a problem. But he kept calling it law and order, which meant, you know, we're really going to be governed by the police.
What I don't understand is he didn't do a very good job of explaining what he meant by
Nothing.
implementing law and order.
And he kept saying it that way.
He kept saying it, and then he only made references to different policies that didn't work in the past. He made that reference, you know, as we said, stop and frisk, and you know, among some other things that we realized. And I'm glad that even Lester Holt, it was good. The one good thing about Lester is that he did his research, so he was able to.
He was right there doing it.
Right.
Excuse me, yes.
Say what? Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. He and he
Mhm.
had help. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. But the fact that he was able to say, you know, that's actually not factual. That was ruled unconstitutional.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, right. How childish was
Wrong.
that, though?
Wrong.
Right. I was like, "Are you? How old are you? 12? Really?
Yes.
You're a said millionaire, and you're acting like you're a 10-year-old right now." You know, making dumb sounds and faces like psh, and rolling
The whole
his
time.
eyes, and I was like, "How rude
So
are you?"
childish.
But that's just his personality. Really? Okay, so you want to know why I can't really talk about any policy things right now, because there was none discussed.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
only thing you can really talk about is how they appeared. That was all you could really talk about. Hillary, she was a little bit more factual because, you know, she talked about some of the policies that even she talked about on her campaign trail the first time, with debt-free college or free public college and things like that. So she brought up those things, but overall, in my opinion, we can't even really talk about the policies that were addressed in this debate, because there really weren't any.
She spent her time defending herself.
Pretty much, you know. But I must say, Hillary threw the first punch. She insulted him first.
That was where I was leading
Well,
into
throw that, yeah.
from what Nate said in the
Yeah,
beginning.
right.
You didn't hear anything new.
Yeah.
Because it's a debate.
Right.
They are meant to combat each other.
That's true. And with you saying
Town
that,
halls
right,
are meant for plans.
Well, it should still be debating policy, debating what I'm going to do as president, debating not what you wore in 2012. But it was so childish. And I feel somewhat sorry for Hillary because it was like she was defending herself as a woman and as a woman and as Bill Clinton's wife. And not as president. And that's where it got disrespectful because he wasn't even looking at her as a potential mate.
Well, you have to understand, too, that being moderated by media, they were going to ask the questions that are directly related to headlines. And that's exactly what they did. So I didn't expect anything less. I just expected... I knew that Hillary was going to be able to get under his skin. That's the attorney in you.
Right.
So she went back and her practice debates, she found that key position to get right in the crook of it.
And it was the fact that she wasn't getting upset.
You're supposed to make the witness uneasy when they're on the stand.
And that's what he was doing. Everything but
she definitely tore him down.
She prosecuted him.
She really did. But honestly, that's what she prepared to do in her several days of preparing for the debate. Weeks. She prepared to do that, and even and I was listening to some news articles and reports on it that they were thinking of possible things that he could say and their responses, and also some memorable one-liners, if you will, that they could say. But so she playing.
Go ahead and play that.
You want to do that? All right, so let's do that. So. Let me see. Is it on this paper or on that paper? Right here. Okay. So we're going to play this video. In this video, Hillary Clinton speaks about the $14 million Donald Trump borrowed from his father, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And she even got a little book promotion in there, Stronger Together, which led her to say that Donald Trump lives in his own reality. So let's play that clip.
I have a different view about what's best for growing the economy, how we make investments that will actually produce jobs and rising incomes. I think we come at it from somewhat different perspectives. I understand that. Donald was very fortunate in his life, and that's all to his benefit. He started his business with $14 million borrowed from his father, and he really believes that the more you help wealthy people, the better off we'll be, and that everything will work out from there. I don't buy that.
Now, you want to approve Trans-Pacific Partnership. You were totally in favor of it. Then you heard what I was saying, how bad it is, and you said, I can't win that debate. But you know that if you did win, you would approve that, and that will be almost as bad as NAFTA. Nothing will ever top NAFTA.
That is just not accurate. I was against it once it was finally negotiated and the terms were laid out. I wrote about that in...
You called it the gold standard. You called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No.
And then you heard what I said about it, and all of a sudden you were against it.
Well, Donald, I know you live in your own reality, but that is not the facts. The facts are, I did say I hoped it would be a good deal, but when it was negotiated, which I was not responsible for, I concluded it wasn't. I wrote about that.
So is it President Obama's fault? Is it President Obama's fault?
Even announced. Look, there
Secretary, is it President Obama's fault?
There are
because he's pushing it.
There are different views about what's good for our country, our economy, and our leadership in the world. And I think it's important to look at what we need to do to get the economy going again. That's why I said new jobs with rising incomes, investments, not in more tax cuts that would add $5 trillion to the debt.
But you have no plan.
Oh, I do.
Secretary,
in fact,
you
I
have no plan.
A book about it. It's called Stronger Together. You can pick it up tomorrow.
That's about all you.
Folks, at the bookstore or at an airport near you.
We're going to...
Wow. Very interesting. Very interesting. I mean, what did you guys think about that? I know, Monty, you had some thoughts on the video itself.
I just thought it was real interesting about the father thing.
Yeah.
And he wants to be able to think he's comparable to somebody else. Not everybody. I know. Did anybody in here get money from their father?
No.
Okay.
So
I got money from the death.
Yeah,
of my father.
That's
But
not the same thing, though.
It's not. It's not. It didn't benefit me while I was growing up.
And I'm sure it wasn't $14 million.
Oh, hell no. You think I would be here?
And that was just to give him to start up his company.
Right. So, yeah. Well, there's several things. So we know that Donald Trump came from privilege. So that's something that we do know. And the quandary with that is that he is trying to relate to
the everyday person.
The everyday person, and those who are struggling financially. And he does think that the resolution is to build big businesses,
more capital, more money,
and more capital, and then that will create more jobs. I mean, it may seem sensible for him and is most definitely beneficial, but I don't see how that is going to meet the immediate need of those who are struggling day to day, or just the middle class people who,
I mean, you can see even at the end of it where he didn't go out and greet the people that were there. He didn't even stay. Like, it was clear he huddled in a group with his wife and children, and they bounced. So they have no type of connection to what people are really feeling outside of the top 1% of the country.
You guys, we have work to do. I'm just gonna say that. And yesterday was National Voter Registration Day. I am hoping that if you are not registered to vote and you are eligible, I encourage you to do so, because any time your vote counts. It doesn't matter. Anytime there is an election, your vote counts. But we really gotta get our voices heard. We do, because the future of our country is so at stake. It really is. And someone has said, I had listened to another show, and they were asking people how they felt about it, about the election and the choices that we have right now, the candidates. And they were like, well, really, it's choosing the lesser of two evils, really.
I hate when they say that.
I heard somebody say that. So so before we do that, if you want to chime in, please call us at 410-702-5657 or text us at 443-642-9403. First of all, tell us what you thought about the debate. Who do you think won? And what were some of the things that stuck out to you? The important parts that stuck out to you? Did you hear anything policy related that stuck out to you that you felt swayed your vote one way or another? Or did it stay the same? I don't know. For a lot of people, the polls are showing that really nobody changed sides, But so call us at 410-702-5657 or send us a text at 443-642-9403. Or you could chat with us live on YouTube. You can definitely do that.
Sniffgate.
Who? Say that? Oh,
Sniffgate.
my goodness. Lord, you talking about all the snifflings he was doing, sinus issues, allergy-related issues.
Can you play that?
Sniffgate. I love that. Okay. Oh, we actually have a caller. Hey there. Welcome to the Be Inspired Radio Show. Who are we speaking to?
Hi, this is Kendra.
Hey, Kendra. What's going on?
Hey, I'm just chiming in on the debate that was held last night.
Yes.
So I did watch. I thought it was actually a very interesting thing to view. You had two people who had very different ways of presenting themselves, and that makes a debate interesting. However, one of my takeaways is that for Trump, I think that he actually he got frustrated on too many levels. I think he has a lot to say, and I think he's been campaigning long enough to have prepared. There was a lot of talk about him not being prepared, but I think he's had enough time to be prepared and not to get frustrated, and I think a lot of people went in against him. I saw a lot of negativity or just comments against him, but he had time to prepare. And
so did he seem prepared to you? You're saying that he did not seem prepared.
He did not seem prepared.
Yeah.
But I think he's had plenty of time to be prepared.
Absolutely.
And I think he let his emotions and frustration for Hillary's Clinton's comeback.
Of course.
I think that, so when you're frustrated, you really, tend to babble if you can't get your point across. So I think that really hurt him in the debate. But it was very interesting to watch.
Okay, so thank you for that comment. We're actually running out of time. We appreciate you calling in and giving your perspective, and we'll talk a little bit more about this later on when we come from the break.
Hey, Kendra.
Nate says, yeah. So thank you, Kendra. Appreciate that. Okay, so when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, and then I want to also talk about Michelle Obama on the campaign trail. She definitely has some strong words in her presentation that I think you'll find interesting. So come on back to the Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Join the club that gives you stuff.
Hey, thanks!
Radio Loyalty.
Here's how it works.
Just click on the Radio Loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for stuff in the Radio Loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple, right?
Radio Loyalty.
Click that banner to join now.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, true story. I was born into a family and a community of hustlers. Now, let's get focused right quick, because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artist or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket.
Word.
Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking Big Mama went through slavery and held it. You're talking Big Mama went through the Depression and held it. Big Mama went through crack and held it and still maintains it today. So if you don't think you come from a hustler, then you don't know where you come from. You understand?
That's so real.
I began to sell juleps, and ever since then, I capture a hustle. And a hustle is not a swindle. It's not a sneaky thing. It's up front. You're providing a need. You understand? So you're the bridge. If you're a true hustler, you're trying to be the bridge. If somebody's on one side and they need to get the other, you're trying to be the bridge, fill in the gap. So hustling is a lifestyle. It's not something you can do 10 minutes out the day. It has to be something you live.
Word.
Hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live, here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Reach out so we can be setting up.
The Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Miss Be Inspired. And for the first part of the show, we have been doing a recap of the presidential debate. And of course, it's been interesting. A lot of people have been saying, well, polls have been saying that Hillary won. But then you had Fox and some other stations like that who said that Trump won. And then if you look at the debate at the end, when they were asked by news journalists how they felt about the debate, both came away feeling like they did a great job. They both felt like they won, or they did an awesome job of answering the questions. And I'm sure, of course, everybody has their bias. Everybody has their bias. I was surprised that was Nate, giving his input, his sound effect. Obviously, he has his bias. He he knows who he's for. And I'm toting the line a bit because I can't really endorse who
Toting the line?
Yeah.
No,
not toting the line. I'm saying I can't really say who I'm supporting online, and I can't really.
Well, you're not a 501c3. So.
Yeah, I know. But I am a civil servant, federal government employee.
Oh, okay.
So I still gotta be cool. But I know.
Be inspired. Who
I am. I know. I am. That was my day job. Right. So anyway, and then every day I miss being inspired. But Miss Being Inspired's day job is that I'm a civil servant. But anyway, with that being said, as you know, Trump has said many crazy things throughout his campaign. One of which he has insulted President Obama and saying that he was not born here in the U.S. That's something that has obviously been very offensive to the Obama family and especially President Obama. But with that being said, Hillary is on the campaign trail, or actually she was on the campaign trail today in Philadelphia endorsing Hillary. So I want to kind of play that because she has some strong words to say in the very beginning of her speech that I think you'll find very interesting. So we're going to play that and let you hear it and then comment on it.
When making life or death, war or peace decisions, a president just can't pop off or lash out irrationally. No, we need an adult in the White House, I guarantee you. And then, of course, there are those who questioned and continue to question for the past 8 years whether my husband was even born in this country. And let me say, hurtful, deceitful questions deliberately designed to undermine his presidency, questions that cannot be blamed on others or swept under the rug by an insincere sentence uttered at a press conference. So if a candidate is erratic and threatening, if a candidate traffics in prejudice, fears, and lies on the campaign trail, if a candidate thinks that not paying taxes makes you smart, or that it's good business when people lose their homes, if a candidate regularly and flippantly makes cruel and insulting comments about women, about how we look, how we act, well, sadly, that's who that candidate really is. You could also help swing an entire precinct for Hillary's opponent with a protest vote or by staying home out of frustration. Because here's the truth. Either Hillary Clinton or her opponent will be elected president this year. And if you vote for someone other than Hillary, or if you don't...
I like the way she said her opponent. She didn't even mention his name. She said, or her opponent. I'm like, wow.
Individual. Well, he keeps doing that too.
Yeah.
He doesn't say her name. He says
Right.
my opponent, or he kept calling her secretary.
Yeah.
Secretary.
That's true.
Yeah, he just, I mean.
Interesting. Well, you know, that's how politicians do. We're on the campaign trail. But anyway, I think you can tell that there was some obvious frustration there with Michelle. And I understand she's on the front line. Really, she is. So she gets to see how things affect her husband, the different policies that he has to enforce or that do not get enforced or backed or passed, and how that affects him. And she gets to see how cruel comments like he wasn't born in the U.S. affects him. So she has to deal with that. And of course, you know, that is going to affect her too.
Because it's beyond his policy. You're attacking him as an individual citizen of this country.
Right.
And his children are watching that. And
Right.
other children are watching that. And your children are watching that. And that reflects how they then go out and treat other people and their employees and other individuals. That is very distasteful and very sad. And the one thing that Trump did say that I agree with was the reaction from Hillary when she was on that birther bandwagon. That's the one thing that I wanted her to not skate over or to push aside, but address it. Hey, I wanted to win, and that's what happened. Like, that type of honesty is what people need from her right now, because
And
he's
that's true.
being that honest,
Right.
and that's why people are gunning for him.
Or
because
what we
he's
think
not-
is honest. Because really, it could just be brash, or he could be appealing to what he thinks people wants to hear. He's a very savvy businessman, and businessmen know how to figure out what the people want and appeal to that, whether he feels that way or not.
So that means that's how you gonna be as president,
right?
You're not gonna just change once you are sworn in. You're gonna be that. If you're about business, you're gonna continue to be about business. And I'm sorry, this country is not a big box store.
No,
you
it
can't
isn't.
run this country like Walmart.
I agree with that.
It has to be run with dignity with all the individuals, and not just the richer upper class individuals.
Okay, so we're out of time. We're going to go on break, and when we come back, we'll pick up on this conversation. But I also want to start talking about starting with the end in mind. And this does very much relate, because we really have to start thinking about our future, and how we respond to these types of issues really plays into how we plan for our future. So stay tuned to the Be Inspired Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
The Style Lounge. For a personalized fashion experience, the Style Lounge is where you should be. From clothing, jewelry, handbags, and accessories, contact us for pop-up shops, vending opportunities, and more. Let us help you enhance your style. Let's discover your inner fashion ego. We are available for on-site and off-site consultations. For your appointment, call 443-248-8879. 15% off with business card.
Free stuff for you just for listening to this station.
Yo, we got your attention?
Here's how it works. You click on the radio loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for cool stuff in the radio loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple. Free stuff just for doing what you already do. Radio loyalty. Click the banner to join now.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. We are in our second hour of the show. If you're just tuning in, welcome TGIW to you, and you. I am your host, Miss Be Inspired, and for the first hour of the show, we have been talking about recapping the presidential debate 2016. Keep in mind, the next one is on October the 9th. So you have to watch, just the way you watched this very first one, you need to be watching that one, because a lot of the things that we may have wanted to hear and that were not addressed may be addressed in this next one. Who knows? It could be more of the same. I don't know. You got to watch. We have 3 more to go. And I'm hoping that people will be just excited, because I know how we are, We get on bandwagons. Everybody was excited about watching this first one. But the other ones that are coming up are going to be just as important. Even Lester Holt said in the beginning, when he opened up the debate, that he doubted if they would be able to really address all the issues. And for several reasons. I mean, obviously, you could see the banter that was going back and forth between the two, the constant insults, the defending themselves. It was hardly time to really talk about issues, And yes, it was a debate. I agree with what Nate was saying. It is not Nate, Monty was saying. It is a debate. You are meant to defend your point of view. But I think where it got lost was defending yourself against insults, and I think that's what the mix-up to me was.
I felt like we were sitting in the principal's office,
right?
Like that's what I felt like we were in detention to trying to explain my behavior,
right? So it's a difference than between defending your point of view or your policy that you plan to implement versus having to defend yourself because you were insulted. So that to me was where I got lost. I wanted to turn the channel a couple times.
Yeah.
Because there were some things on that I felt might have been a little more entertaining.
And it's a waste of time. It really is a waste of time, because I know part of it is I can't really release what I want to do, because then the opponent will have something to combat.
Yes.
But it's very obvious. I like a nail going through my head. I sit and watch both of their last big speeches, like his speech in Ohio, and a lot of the things that he was saying is just. And what I liked about it was they added all these clips over the years of when people were asking him, like he was on an Oprah show and a bunch of talk shows, and they would ask him about being president. Mm-hmm. And everything that he is saying today in this election is polar opposite of what he said back then. It sounded then like he was more for the people.
Yeah.
And he was for the small business owner.
Yeah, it did seem that way in the beginning. But
where did that go?
Yeah, he got in. I said he said enough to get him where he is today, appealing to what he felt people wanted to hear. But right now, if you're tuned in via YouTube, you will see, or if you're tuned in via BeExposedRadio.com, you will see the double screen. Down at the bottom of the screen, what you are watching is the presidential debate town hall. So if you want to tune into that, you can also give your comments about what you're seeing, but that's what you're watching right now, and which is perfect because we're really recapping the debate. But here they're probably discussing some of the things that were said at the debate. They're doing their own recap, if you will. I'm sure those who are in the audience are able to ask questions up to either candidate and kind of get some of the. It's just with the Obama. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's with President Obama, not with either of the candidates. So I'm sure he gets to give his reaction or response. So that, to me, will be interesting to know what his response is. So that's what you're watching on the screen right now. And I'm wondering, that leads me to my next point. I wonder what President Obama was thinking. Like, I wish I was a fly in the room while he was watching the debate and kind of get an idea of what he felt. You don't think
he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't watching.
So we're gearing up to the town hall. Mm-hmm. So is that what's showing on here?
No, this is Anderson 360 currently.
Okay.
So going at 9 o'clock, so we're gearing up to it.
Okay, so we're actually gearing up. Do we have a call? Okay. All right. So we're gearing up to that. So that's what you're watching. You're watching the pre-town hall show. I'll say that with Anderson. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to figure out what President Obama felt about it. He may even address some of the policy issues, some things he may have thought that he wanted to hear, or address some of the things that were said. Obviously, he is endorsing Hillary, but it'll be interesting to see what he's going to say. So that's going to be airing at 9:00, the presidential debate town hall meeting, where they're going to be discussing in detail some of the things that were discussed at the actual debate.
For people who are not so much on the fence with him, but I guess so, fence on whether he's coming from a good place or not, I would say watch his last speech in Ohio, and he said some pretty off-the-wall stuff. Like, he was speaking about Charlotte, and his response was, I have property down there, so I understand what's going on.
And he actually said that a few times, even in his
during the
debate.
Right.
He was like, a place where I really love, I have property there. Obviously, that's what's important to him. There's some kind of obvious gain for him.
He made a lot of, it was the little things he was sliding there.
Nuances.
Michelle made notice of it, about him not having to pay taxes during certain years, and he was like, "Cause I'm smart." And it was
smart, man.
Right. That makes it, and it, to me, like, that debunks everything that you're standing on right now.
It really does.
Like, what all the tax breaks, all the things, everything that you don't want businesses to do, probably your competitors, to be able to do, you want to get rid of that. Does that mean that your businesses will still be allowed to do that, or how would that go? And that's the part that has me a little on edge, because he, and I don't understand the whole thing, and maybe I think Marnie knows, but the idea of what happens to his businesses once I'm not even gonna do that. If in some wild hell of a place he becomes president. So I would want to know, and the issue is they have to vote in someone. But in my opinion, he's going to try to push his children in on it.
Of course.
And have them all represent his business.
And he will. I'm pretty sure he has some kind of contingency plan in place. And that will involve his children. They're already involved. They were there at the debate. They were all seemingly proud of him. Right. Seemingly proud of him, giving him good jobs. And I'm looking like, what debate were y'all listening to?
What were you looking at?
Y'all serious right now?
I forgot you on the payroll too.
Right. Yeah. You happy because you got them millions too.
But what if he puts his children in cabinet positions? Because Hillary's already said she's going to put her husband in, what was the foreign department, foreign policy. Like, where do you think he would put his children?
Yeah,
I got him putting his daughter over top of something and his sons over top of something.
I was trying to.
I don't think they would be over top of anything because they couldn't get in any department heads,
right?
Because those are sworn in positions.
Yes,
they couldn't be secretary of anything because they would have to still be sworn in by Congress.
Sworn in, right? Voted on.
They could be his advisors, as they are now.
Well, they ain't doing their job.
They would have to be on his staff. Like his daughter could probably be chief of staff or something like that.
Yeah, she could be something.
Because those
like
aren't
that.
sworn in positions.
Right.
Those are hireable and fireable positions.
So I'm trying to look up memorable quotes from the night. I thought that would be fun to bring that.
That was the only one I remember.
I'm looking it up now.
Shimmy.
Oh, did he play the video for the sniff game?
Okay, so this is for what?
Sniffgate.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's play the video for Sniffgate. And if you don't know what that... Okay, if you don't know it, we're going to hold off on that. But if you don't know what that is, if you watch the debate... Okay, how many times did you count that Trump sniffed throughout the debate? Was it distracting to you? Look, call us at 410-702-5657.
What did it mean? Like, I was all in, like,
443-642-9403. I tell you what it means, that he was lying. He was lying up a storm. Yeah. And my thing is, even with Fact Checker, I actually brought up an article right here on my phone that shows that the number of false statements by Trump far outweighed Hillary.
It wasn't even in comparison. For her, I don't even think it was false statements. It was her defending herself. He was outright just throwing out figures and numbers as if he really had factual information.
Yeah.
And then it was one time
Very
where it
convincing.
went from something about 3,000 to 4,000. Like it was, I remember.
It was from 4,000 to 3,000 back to 4,000.
Yeah, like it was, numbers was just all over the place.
The deaths in Chicago.
Yeah, the deaths in Chicago. And he kept saying since Obama has been in.
Because he has property there.
Right. But he kept on making comparisons to when since he's been, and that's his city, that's his state. But you're still making comparisons since he's been in office. So and somebody brought up a point: was he debating Obama or Hillary? Like, who was this debate between?
I'm looking up some of the quotes. All right.
Sniffgate is ready.
Okay, all right, so let's do Sniffgate and then we'll read some of these quotes from the night. All right, Sniffgate, here we go.
Wait.
Are we on? Okay. So what you heard was a string of all the time, the string of all of the times he sniffed put together. And I'm sorry, I was trying
That hit the Facebook thing right away.
Yeah, and that was just all of the times that he sniffed, and they put it all together. It was very distracting. It was
that mean with that man sniffing the arm.
Oh yes, there was a picture on Facebook, on social media. It was a split screen of Hillary, how she actually looked on the debate, and then there was a picture of some guy, some look-alike, Donald Trump look-alike, with the little Flonase thing up to his nose. Supposedly clearing out his nose.
Did you ever find the clip with her doing the woo? Did you find that one?
Oh no!
Oh yeah, that was her little thing.
It been all over the news already. Woo! They even put it behind music. I can't remember the song that it was.
Oh, it's already a remix.
And she started doing this shit.
Woo!
Woo!
All right, so here we go. Some of the top quotes for the night. I'm prepared to be. This is from Hillary. I'm prepared to be president, and I think that's a good thing. Hillary also said, I called it trumped up, trickle down, because that's exactly what it would be. That is not how we grow the economy. Now, that was the first jab, and she was the one who threw it. She did throw the first insult. So, Hillary supporters, I'm just saying, just stating the fact, okay? We have to stop the violence.
She said that several times.
Yes, she did. Hillary also said he called her Miss Housekeeping because she was Latina.
Oh, we got that clip.
You do? Okay. Yeah. All right. Hold tight. We got like a minute and a half. But so it says, okay, another one from Hillary. Donald, she has a name. Her name is Alicia Mercado. And she has become a U.S. citizen, and you can bet she's going to vote this November. And everybody started cheering. Yeah, I saw that. Hillary also says, I want us to invest in you. I want us to invest in your future. Hillary also said everyone should be respected by the law and everyone should respect the law. Now, okay, so let's hear that comment from Hillary when she said he called her Miss Housekeeping because she was Latina. Let's roll that.
One thing, Lester, is he tried to switch from looks to stamina. But this is a man who has called women pigs, slobs, and dogs, and someone who has said pregnancy is an inconvenience to employers, who has said women don't deserve equal pay unless they do as good a job as men. And one of the worst things he said was about a woman in a beauty contest. He loves beauty contests, supporting them and hanging around them. And he called this woman Miss Piggy. Then he called her Miss Housekeeping because she was Latina. Donald, she has a name.
Where did you find
her
this?
name
Where
is
did you find
Alicia
this?
Machado.
Where did you find
And
this?
she has become a U.S. citizen, and you can bet she's going to vote this November.
Okay, good.
You're struggling with your mortgage. You think about it. You don't do anything but think about it.
What are we going to do if we lose the house? Where are we going to go?
At work.
I can't let anybody find out. I'm so embarrassed.
At dinner.
How can I tell the kids? It's going to wreck their lives.
And at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get through this. What's going to happen to us?
It's time to stop thinking. It's time to start dialing. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options.
I'm all alone.
No, you're not. We've helped over 1 million homeowners, and we want to help you. And now there are more ways to help. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is. Because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback.
What is the radio show about? I know a lot of people are asking, and we want to make it clear that we are talking about the truth, and we're also giving the platform for folk to air their art, whether it's music or baking a cake, whatever it is that you do and you do well. As long as it's positive and we're talking about truth, and we're coming up with solutions, which is also important.
Amen.
Then that's what we're going to do.
Wow.
All right? So once again, welcome to Be Exposed Radio. Welcome to the
radio show. He was chilling. He was doing his thing. Y'all, you feel me? Love y'all family. You know what I'm saying? And like for him to be taken away from you, snatched away from you, just like that. You feel me? It's like damn. Another good one gone. You know what I'm saying? Like why you taking the good? You know what I'm saying?
You always end up asking like why.
And like again, it's a lesson that it's a test of faith. You feel me? He's gonna take you through these tests. You feel me? You're gonna go through these little phases in life, yo. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you just gotta recognize that one, it's the adversary trying to knock you off your pivot, and then it's God trying to teach you something. You feel me? Right. Anything that you go through, you're gonna get through. It's called going through. You feel me? That's why it's called going through. You going through something. Right. You feel me? Because after you go through it, you get through it. You look back on it like, damn, I got that. You feel what I'm saying?
For this and more, be sure to tune into BeExposedRadio.com every Friday from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock p.m. to listen to more It Is What It Is radio show.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Hilarious stuff. If you weren't tuned in, you missed Sniffgate. A string of all of the times Donald Trump sniffed throughout the debate. That was so distracting. That's just like somebody who has kind of weird body movement or something while they are giving their speech.
That during any of his other speeches.
Because he was lying.
Yeah. And he was trying hard. They fixed his hair. Like, they took the blonde out of his hair. He wasn't orange.
No.
So they put that foundation on him.
He was stressed out.
Yeah.
It took a lot out of him.
He kept shifting and moving and...
It took a lot out of him. You could tell that debate was wearing on him.
Like, I think in my mind, they said every time you feel yourself getting angry, drink water.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's what they said to him.
Because obviously that's what happened.
Every time Hillary was talking, he just was guzzling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Yep. Interesting. So before we laugh, first of all, this is Miss B Inspired. I didn't even say who I was or nothing. I just
keep it on. Yeah, because
it's for the cameras.
Before we left off of the break, we were doing the quotes. I think. Wait a minute, Nate. Can you pass me? Look, can you pass me my purse all on air? Can you pass me my purse? Can you pass me my purse, please? Thank you. This is a live show, right? Can you pass me my purse? Okay. We were given a list of all of the the quotes, the best quotes. Let me see if I can pull that back up because it was interesting. Some of the stuff that was said between the two.
You need some Flonase or something
on the show. Oh yeah, he definitely did. But it was very distracting.
This is sign of season.
Come on, dude. Give it a break. And he was going hard. It wasn't like he was going.
That was the anger management. That's what that was.
And then
somebody gave him a tool and he just overused it.
He did because he didn't know what to do with himself. He was going to explode up there. He was like, I'm trying to see if I can bring it up. But yeah. Now, did you hear that one? I will say one that I remembered when he was talking about hackers. And I'm not laughing at, I'm just saying the fact that he even let something like this come out of his mouth that, they're likely an overweight person that's bedridden.
In my mind,
they said it's like a 400-pound person sitting on their bed doing it.
Yeah, I said
it was just crazy. It's just who is filtering you? Like, who is in charge of saying no? Don't say that.
Whoever was probably in the back, like,
right.
Don't do that.
They quit. I would have just quit. After like the first 15 minutes, I would have just quit. Like, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm working for Hillary now.
Right, I'm done. Yeah, his PR person probably was having a fit. Like, oh my gosh.
And he probably like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what did they do?
All right, so I'll do a continuation since we only have a few more minutes. I thought it would be fun to go through a couple more of the quotes that were said, some of the popular quotes. Donald Trump said, Hillary has experience, but it's bad experience. The audience, his supporters were like, woo, yeah. Donald Trump also said, African Americans, Hispanics are living in hell because it's so dangerous. You walk down the street, you get shot. I just want to know what his point of reference is. That's all I want to know.
He has none.
Exactly.
He's in Chicago as the point of reference.
Right. Like, because he has property.
And he just kept talking about his wealth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not bragging or anything.
No. His word, to be exact. Braggadocious.
Yeah.
Braggadocious. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Which had everybody scrambling, trying to figure out if that was actually, even Webster and all the daggone dictionaries was like, I don't even know, we don't even know if that's a word.
Mayday.
And they found out it was.
Blew up the internet trying to find it. Okay.
But who knew that Webster knew that a word wasn't a word, or was or wasn't a word? Aren't they supposed to be like the ones that's supposed to tell you?
Yes, exactly.
They just added.
When you're special.
Right.
Oh, no. Poor Webster.
Bombs away.
Right. We might want to rethink where we go to for our sources.
Hello. We're having a good old encyclopedias. You remember they used to sell those door to door? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now we go to the internet.
Internet. Never used.
Collecting that. Well, Google, because everybody goes to Google.
You always look at the one that got your initial on it. So my N is never Dusty. It's always the right one.
Yeah. All right. So listen, we're going to wrap up that conversation. I think we have beat that horse. Talking about the recap. We only have about a minute and a half left in this segment, but we're getting ready to go into the Breaking Barriers segment, where we're discussing, starting with the end in mind, 7 habits of highly effective people. And we have been, this is so important, linking the two between being aware of what's going on right now. Now, we're talking about, you can talk about it from the personal perspective, but even from our future in terms of policy. I think we can definitely link the two, because we definitely have to give some thought to that. We have to, even when we're planning our own stuff, you know, a lot of these policies and stuff that are being instituted is going to directly affect you. It's going to directly affect your children, your family. So how do we plan for those things? How do we plan understanding that we are in a very crucial place right now in our world? And it definitely affects our personal life. So when we come back, we're going to have a discussion with Dr. D, Breaking Barriers with Dr. D, where we'll get more in discussion about that and talking about vision statements. And what are you doing, really? Are you have things that you're planning that can really affect the community? Is that part of what you're thinking of doing? Maybe not. I don't know. But let's talk about that more when we come back from the break. You're listening to the Be Inspired Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
You're listening to BeExposedRadio.com. Talk dirty to me.
I love it. It's awesome. It's all mine. Gets me going every day.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org.
Check out
Brought to you by the Ad Council
on
and the
the
National
one
Highway
and
Traffic
only
Safety.
Be Inspired Radio Show. So, since we're talking about the book, can you give people a synopsis of what the book is, and what is, and what the name? What's the name of the book again, and then what it's about?
The name of the book is From Trial to Afflictions. More than one, because there were more than one afflictions.
Yes.
The book is talking about, actually, it's my life story. And I have to add in there that when that prophet told me, he said, tell your story, write the story. He said, and God said, tell your addiction. Now, see, I'm not going to tell the addiction because you have to get the book to read it. But it was about deliverance. Mm-hmm. It was about all the, trials and tribulations we go through. People that come into our life, even people that come to try and break you down or draw you down so that you can't stand for God or worship Him through your situation, because that's the adversary using them. We have to know that. But through it all, I was still praying and fasting. Mm-hmm. I needed help from God. Mm-hmm. I really did. I needed help from God to see me through. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that's going through it, I say that this book is about different afflictions.
Yes.
Going through them, how you get through them. And I had a sister pushing me too, praying for me. I thank God for that again.
Yes.
But it also talks about deliverance. There is deliverance in the process.
Yes.
And you have to be willing to see yourself first to know that you need deliverance.
Yeah.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Be Inspired Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Miss Be Inspired, and we are here with Dr. D for the Breaking Barriers segment, where we're going to really get into talking about starting with the end in mind. And we got that from the 7 habits of highly effective people. I'm going to get that one day.
Yes.
I've been saying it. I should know it by now.
That'll be your vision statement.
Oh my God. Right. How many times? Do a little clip of how many times I messed that up. But yeah.
That's your book title trying to come out. Trying to manifest
right.
itself.
Oh, go ahead and prophesy. Put it in everything. Okay, so anyway, but yes, I really want to just go ahead and bring Dr. D in because she has a viewpoint. She has a way that she wants to really go with this conversation, because we're going to link in the conversations we were having in the first half about the debate and how each side really addressed the issues and also comments that were thrown their way. So I'm going to just go ahead and bring Dr. D in.
Okay. All right then. Well, welcome to the Breaking Barriers segment of the Be Inspired Radio Show with Miss Be Inspired herself and Mr. Nate. And an extensive conversation about the presidential debate that went on Monday. What is our take on that? What are the strengths and weaknesses of both candidates, given that how it's pretty critical right now that we know where we're going, because we're less than 45 days away from the actual vote, and we have to vote. I'm really concerned about the millennials, because with the disappointment that they had in Bernie Sanders not winning the presidential nomination, there is an inclination to say, well, I'm not going to participate at all. And we really cannot afford to do that. And I'm so glad that Mrs. Obama is going around to the colleges. I hope she gets to the high schools and colleges to be able to say, you must vote. So we've been dealing with the 7 habits into the second habit. We want to give a shout out to all of our Facebook friends. We've got Eddie Underwood. We've got Vanessa Mitchell. My girlfriend, this is my buddy from way back, Dr. Mary Henderson is here, and I believe there was someone else, but I cannot see them. So if you make your comment, I will acknowledge you on Facebook Live. But we're into the second habit. The first habit was to be proactive. One way that you increase your effectiveness is by being proactive rather than reactive. The second is to start with the end in mind. And we've dealt with that over the last couple of weeks with having a vision statement, where you'd like to be when it's all said and done. My cousin Jason Kim Bridgeforth, but that we start there and get the vision in mind. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want it to have some substance. You want it to have a reflection of your gifts, your passion, because we all want to land where our passion is. And knowing that that vision statement is a working document. So you work at it little by little. So after you've done that, then you live your life backwards. In other words, if I start today with, I want to get to the studio on time, okay, just a simple vision of that I'm walking in the door, maybe even 15 minutes early, then I order all of my activities throughout the day in order to get there on time, realizing that you can't get 100 things done an hour before and think that you're going to get there on time. Well, that's what starting with the end in mind is like when you're dealing with moving forward in your goals. But I wanted to kind of segue into dealing with the whole presidential election, because I think maybe if we discern a little bit more of what the end is in the minds of each of our candidates, it'll help us to determine where we want to go in terms of who we want to vote for. So I'm going to put out there, and Facebook Live, we got Ruth Ambush, my friend from the past. She is here. But I'd love for you to either text, what do you feel Donald Trump's end is? What is his goal in running for presidency? Yes, we know he wants to run for presidency, but what is it that he's wanting for this country based upon what you see? Because that should help you to know whether it matches what it is that you're seeing is a need or an end that we need to have in mind for our community, for our state, and for our local, our country. And then I want us to switch over to what we feel the Hillary Clinton's end is in mind. Please feel free to call in live at 410-702-5657, 410-702-5657, or you may text us at 443-642-9403, 443-642-9403. Chat with us live also on YouTube, so we've got these all in there. I have here, Nate says, call in and share your thoughts, and that's exactly what we want you to do. Share your thoughts about what do you feel Donald Trump's end is? What's the end that he has in mind? And does that fit what end it is that we see is the need for our community? And I'm putting that out for you who are here in this room as well. What do you see as Donald Trump's end? What does he want? Besides being president, why does he want to be president, in your opinion, based on what you see?
Great question. I think it's definitely linked to personal gain. He's made several references to big businesses and wanting to build those up. Obviously, he is part of that community. He has tried or attempted to frame it in a way that seems like it will benefit the middle class and low income communities. But really, his concept to me doesn't really address the immediate needs of those communities. I just feel like he'll be personally gaining from that some kind of way, unless he's planning to somehow, I don't know how he's gonna do that, to be president and then have these businesses and then quote unquote build them up for the economy.
So you see him as being somewhat self-serving in what
self-serving.
He says he wants to make America great again. What's that mean? I mean, in your opinion, the making America great again, what is that saying about what he has in mind as the end? Because that kind of gives me the vision of he wants to go back to a time when America was supposedly great. I don't want to get too biased in here, but I'd like to hear in your opinion, what does he mean? What in your opinion is his goal when he talks about make America great again?
There were a lot of statistics thrown out as far as what the deficit was, what the stock market was, what all those things pre-Obama or I say pre-Obama, and those figures just don't add up right now. We're doing a lot better with the economy. We're doing a lot better in certain parts, in a lot of parts of the country. Whether people want to throw out that type of information because they don't want Obama to look good, they want his legacy to be tarnished, but the figures don't lie. He wants it to go back to that, where his business was thriving, where his bottom line was great, because he represents the top 1% or the top 5% of this country. So he wants it to go back where there was no regulation.
So if his end is to go back, is it inclusive or exclusive of people who are not in that top 1%, in your opinion?
Exclusive. It's really, he cares nothing about the people that helped him get to where he is. Those employees that he speak of that cleans that works for him. I'm not going to say cleans, but those people that work for him, he couldn't tell you the person who just got hired at his company. All these numbers that he's throwing out are just figures. And anybody can throw out a number. I have 10,000 people watching the Artist Exchange radio show. I could say that. I can say that all day long. I know it's not true, but I can say anything. And I think he wants it to go back to a point where people don't know he's BS.
Who said it ain't true?
But he wants it to go back to that point where he was making money hand over fist at the expense of a lot of our 401ks and houses and he wanted to go back there because that's when he was able to buy up so much property when everybody was being foreclosed. He bought a lot of those properties in Charlotte and Chicago and so on.
I'm going to interject. So I think what he is. So yes, I believe there's a lot of hopelessness going on in our country. There is obviously something that people are looking for. He is attempting to appeal to that. But those of us who can't be fooled realize that, obviously his proposals aren't going to address that. But I think the people that are voting for him buy into the notion that America can be great again, and they're looking for some type of hope. They looked for that in Obama, and I'm not saying that he failed or anything. I'm just saying that people looked for that, maybe feel like they didn't get it, and now they're voting for him. Now, I'm not saying that's my viewpoint. I'm just saying I can see he's appealing to that part.
Okay.
His arguments, he's using those, he's framing it in a way that'll make it seem like it's going to benefit those who are looking for this great America again, where terrorism isn't at the top of our concerns.
It's always been at the top of our
but
concerns.
I mean, it's even more to the forefront because ISIS is now a household name. It's something that now we are even more aware of. Not to say that we weren't before, or even. Yeah, I'm just saying that it was Al-Qaeda. Yeah, so.
And it's always going to be something,
right,
okay, because we just live in that kind of world where, you have the good, you have the evil, you have different points of view and approaches to how we want to get what we want. But just bear in mind, whatever is the end that he has in mind, if it is self-serving, if it is increased wealth and power, if making America great again means being at a place where the advantages that I enjoyed as a business person, I enjoy again. Everything that he does is going to be motivated by that, okay? Because that's his version of success, and that is what brings that out. Dr. Henderson says, remember what was handed down from former President Bush and the accomplishments of President Obama has achieved to get the country back on track. I believe, as you have said, Ms. B. Inspired, Trump's goal is to go backward, okay? So his going backward for him is going forward, okay? But if that forward is not reflective of what we see as a need of going forward, then we need to sort of X that out in terms of the vote. And I'm saying this because I do believe we need to be thinking in terms of the vote and in terms of what we're going to do in November. Now, Hillary Clinton, let's move to her. We have a few more minutes. What do we see as her end based on the things that she said, based on the actions that she's taken? What do we see as Hillary Clinton's end? And I, again, welcome those who are listening to call in or to be able to text in and join us as we live call in 410-702-5657, 410-702-5657, or text us at 443-642-9403. And those who are on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, please feel free to add to the chat. Do we see anything in Hillary? I mean, do we feel that she's trying to to take us back to a day that was better for all of us than what it is now, or do we see something different in her? Tell me what you think. Any thoughts to this panel?
I don't think she's taking us back to anything. It's all about progressing. For what I have been involved in so many years, I'm not going to say how many, but the Democratic Party has been all about progression. And since Obama took office in 2008, it has been, well, for the first 2 years of his presidency, he could have got a lot more done than he did because he had control of the Senate and the House. But since he lost control of the House and the Senate subsequently after that, it's been a stalemate. So nothing could get passed, nothing could get done. It was a whole bunch of Republicans saying, I'm not going to let him do this. Our mission is to stop him from being a good president.
But that was from day one. That didn't just start in the second term. That was from day one.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying that stalemate was from day one, before he even got into office.
Right, but it wasn't more Republicans.
It got worse after they.
Exactly. So from the 2008 to 2010, he had control of the Senate and control of the House. In 2010 is when it shifted, when all the Republicans shuffled in, and then that's when we first met Ted Cruz, who then said, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to sit here and I'm ring green eggs and ham, and y'all going to like it, but I'm going to shut this down and I'm not going to fund the government. That's when that started. Because before then, that's why we got Obamacare. That's how we got so many things. But it could have been so much more done in that first 2 years.
Like what?
That could have prevented a lot of what we're going through today.
I really don't think that. Well, I'm not going to.
Well, and the reality is.
Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
No, it's not
You
about
can't
Obama,
because
though.
we only have 20 seconds
and
and we're getting ready to go into break.
Okay. So with Hillary, basically, we're saying that it looks like there's a little more inclusiveness in it. I think that when we come back, we'll say something brief to those who were disappointed because they really wanted Bernie Sanders in because they had a progressive agenda. We're going to take a break, and we will be back on the Be Inspired radio show.
You're listening to the station with their ear to the streets. BeExposedRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
What does hustle hard mean to you? What does that signify in your life?
That's a lifestyle for me. You know what I mean? Like, true story. I was born into a family and a community of hustlers. Now let's get focused right quick, because when people hear the word hustler, they confuse it with con artist or something negative. So they like to call people entrepreneurs, right? But the definition, and I'm paraphrasing, but the definition of hustle is forced movement or to be hurried, right? But we're not talking about just pushing other people. Sometimes you got to push yourself, and that what makes you a hustler. True story. So the thing about it is, like, when it comes to hustling, listen, quick story. I used to go buy juleps a lot, right? And my grandmother used to make me clean the yard, shovel snow, do things like that to go get a julep. But one day she was like, look, you putting all your money in someone else's pocket.
Word.
Save those quarters, and I can teach you how to make a formula, and you can sell your own juleps. You understand? So the next couple weeks, I saved my money.
Always a hustler.
Listen,
got to love
but think
everybody
about
got
this.
a grandma story like that.
Grandmothers are the natural hustlers because they were the ones who maintained and sustained our families through epidemics. You're talking Big Mama went through slavery and held it. You're talking Big Mama went through the Depression and held it. Big Mama went through crack and held it and still maintains it today. So if you don't think you come from a hustler, then you don't know where you come from. You understand?
That's so real.
I began to sell juleps, and ever since then, I capture a hustle. And a hustle is not a swindle. It's not a sneaky thing. It's up front. You're providing a need. You understand? So you're the bridge. If you're a true hustler, you're trying to be the bridge. If somebody's on one side and they need to get the other, you're trying to be the bridge, fill in the gap. So hustling is a lifestyle. It's not something you can do 10 minutes out the day. It has to be something you live.
Word. Hey, what's up? This is Nate, host of the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live, here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Be Inspired Radio Show with Miss Be Inspired herself, and I am Dr. D. I am hosting the Breaking Barriers segment, where we deal with those barriers that get in the way of our success and enable us to move forward. We do have concerns about the success of our community and the success of our ethnic group when we are belong to the African Americans or Latinos or people of color. We have specific concerns even as it relates to presidential candidates, identifying what end it is that we see or we discern they have for even running for president. For if their end is just to win and just for the sake of winning, to just conquer a mountain and just to say, hey, I could even do this well. If it's wealth, if it's power, that's really not enough, because if it's wealth and power, that's only going to be for a few people. But if it's to be have success include people who are not like me, that's the thing we need to be listening for and looking for. Dr. Henderson brings out that Hillary Clinton has demonstrated her ability to stand under insurmountable odds. Her past service shows a very strong person who can play this political game and play to win. And may I add, a male-dominant political game. I know there are people that are upset about Benghazi, that are upset about the foundation, that are upset about things that they feel that Hillary Clinton has not done. But if we deal with people who have been tested and proven in terms of their commitment to public service and through odds, even the things that she went through in her marriage and all of those things, we have to give the lady her props. And the question really becomes, is she worthy to break the glass ceiling now as far as being the first woman president? What did you say his last name? Jones had indicated that we might need to shift our attention from dealing with Trump versus Hillary and who's worthy, who's not worthy, and begin to deal with the fact that she is the first woman presidential candidate. And do we feel that her goals have matched what we feel a person needs to have in order to be worthy to be the very first woman president? I think I want to ask you all what your opinion about that is, and those who are in Facebook Live, what's your opinion? Do you feel she's worthy? Do you feel she has the right goal in mind?
I definitely do. So first I'm going to talk about the resolve that she has, or the resilience that she has shown. I think that alone, to me, is definitely a characteristic that a president needs, because you're going to be hit with all types of things. You're going to be there are going to be times when there are policies that you want to have passed and you may have difficulty doing that. There are going to be times when you may be getting hit with things from the public. You have to be able to withstand that. And I think it was Mary's point, she has definitely shown that, even in her role as Secretary of State, and even being the wife of a president, a former president, she has shown that type of resolve, that type of resilience that I think qualifies her for that role. And then the fact that she, even in a male-dominated political system, she's able to still hold her own. She's still able to be not aggressive but assertive. She says what needs to be said, and she says it. she says facts. She's factual. She's not just quoting her opinion, her thoughts. She's, giving her facts. So
I hate that they say that about her.
What?
That I hate that whole dynamic of the difference between a male and a female. She can't be. She has to be this way, or that aggressive thing, or she can't be aggressive. She can be like how you were just saying that. Why is it that we have to say that about her because she's a female and not that she's the presidential candidate? Because I don't want nobody that can't be aggressive in a situation where they're dealing with a foreign power.
Right.
She needs to be aggressive because they're not going to respect her already. If you're in Israel or somewhere in the Middle East, they're not going to respect her already because she's female.
But she's going through that.
And I think the point is kind of tying this in with the end in mind. She knew, just like President Obama knew, that and we welcome Bishop Marcus Johnson and Bishop Robert Johnson. Oh my goodness, we've just got these bishops here. My goodness. But what we have to bear in mind is that when you decide you're going to be the one to break the glass ceiling, you then, I'm kind of going back to the Daniel principle, who Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys in the book of Daniel were 10 times better than those the magicians and the satraps that were around them. They knew the game. They knew what they had to do. And so do we feel that that Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, do we believe that her end has been just to be the first woman president, to say that's what I am? Or do we believe that there's more to it, like there's a desire, there's something that she's wanting that is inclusive of people like us, people who have less than or who are not quite as powerful? What are your thoughts? And we welcome, again, Facebook Live and those who are listening to call in. Do you have any thoughts about it? We have about 1 minute and 41 seconds, and I do need to get to these SMART goals, but briefly, Brother Nate, tell me what you think.
It's a clown show. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's just clownish right now. And I really think she has what it takes, and I don't like the idea that because she's a female, she has to then live up to this standard that's bigger than anybody that's running ever in life. I don't really think that that's fair.
You're right. And yet it is a reality that she had to face, and I'm tying that in with starting with the end in mind, because a highly successful individual sets out, they define what their goal is, and they define it even in a limitless way. And I encourage people who are here that are listening, let the sky be your limit. What do you want? What do you want to be? What would you like to accomplish by the time you've gone off the scene? And then what are you willing to sacrifice to get to that point? And I think that that is kind of where I want to segue into goal setting, because as we're going to wrap up with this, which we'll do next week, goal setting is part of this. And I'm going to encourage people to establish SMART goals. S is to be specific. M is to be measurable. A is to have it be agreed upon of the people that are around you, your accountability system. R is make it realistic. And T is make it time-based. We'll have that up on the website. And let's continue with this next week as we start with the end in mind, breaking barriers and entering the winner's circle. Thank you, and you have a wonderful week. Miss Be Inspired, take us out.
Bye. Yeah, that's it. See you later and see you next week.
We thank you from Facebook.
You're listening to BeExposedRadio.com. Talk dirty to me.